master's by research at the moment, and it was the same kind of thing where I guess, you know, obviously you have something that you want to research in the first place, and you kind of have that drive and you start to pilot different things and come up with different resources, and then you realize like that there are contradictions, and that that you need to kind of go back to the drawing board and kind of live them out more faithfully than you currently are doing. So I suppose that was what I'm doing at the moment, is trying to write up my research. And like that, I've been to a couple of NERI meets and really interested in the idea of kind of values and putting them to the forefront of your work. At the moment, is I'm trying to kind of create a visual of how my action research, kind of how one thing played onto the other, more than the idea of living theory, and I'm a bit held up at the moment.
Sorry,
I'm right there with you.
Sorry to interrupt.
Kind of looking at the schools that should be one school and working with people. So, you know, it's negotiations of international proportion.
Diplomacy all the way.
Yeah.
Hi, I just popped in to check that everyone was okay, and so Maureen, I think you have access to the Google Doc, and so you can share your screen and populate it as the discussion evolves.
Mary and the others got their doctorates. Each one had living theory in 2006 and 7. So Mary, Bernie, Catriona, yeah, and Maureen. And they were knowledge creators. You know, they made original contributions to educational knowledge. And just as you're saying, Denise, this is now getting lost with the imposition of what are inappropriate standards. You know, we miss out this vital area of professionalism that I hope that NERI and the new SIG can actually highlight. Yeah.
But also, I hope that, you know, at the beginning, Pip said there's no endings, just beginnings. Yeah. I hope that what's happening now will pause the education community, like especially in the UK. You know, they've cancelled league tables this year. Offset have been put on pause until everything's back up and running. And I just really hope people take time to pause and evaluate why we're doing things, and, you know, what's the impact of it, and I hope that we move to a more reflective route where people are knowledge creators, reflective practitioners. Yeah,
that's good.
Here.
Yeah, I suppose I was wanting to go a bit further than that in saying, don't we have a responsibility for sharing our accounts of how we're living our values as fully as we can? So, for example, if we claim to be valuing integrity or freedom or justice, it's not sufficient just to talk about them. We've actually got to demonstrate the meanings that we're actually expressing in our practice, and then share the explanations of our influence using the values as explanatory principles. So it's not just a case of, again, talking about values. It's actually being willing to be accountable for sharing our explanations of our influence, where we're claiming that our values are being clarified in the course of their emergence in our practice. Am I making sense there?
Yeah. Am I documenting it correctly? I'm trying to write as you're talking, and yeah, the connection, and so just if I haven't taken it down right, just.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Well, I suppose some of the time you only recognize the value when it's challenged. Okay. So when something happens that goes, oh, that's not right, and you realize that it's triggering something within your own set of personal values. But I was wondering, going back to your previous point, Jack, is the encroachment of bureaucracy and accountability, and like the English with the Ofsted and the inspections and all that, making some people retreat into the classroom, to the autonomy of the classroom, and to holding that as sacred, because if you share it, it's going to be taken away from you, maybe.
Yeah. Now, Barry MacDonald in 1984 had this idea of creative compliance, which was recognizing those pressures, but we try to continue to live out our values in our own practice, recognizing exactly what you're saying, that these pressures that we're under to contradict the values we hold. And I understand what you're saying. There's a lot of prudence involved in this, because you can't actually go public when you're being seen to be challenging the very organization that is actually employing you. Yeah.
He must have been watching MASH reruns, because they are the essential creative compliance.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts or?
I suppose, Jack, I know you've spoken about and written about being living contradictions and, you know, how we can overcome that. And I've been teaching in the UK for just coming on 4 years now. And I trained in Ireland and did all my placements in Ireland. And then I entered into a completely different system. And I've just completed my master's, and I did an action research project. And, you know, I just feel like having a critical friend, being involved with groups like this, helps you stay in touch with yourself as a practitioner, that you go back to your individual values and you don't forget what's at the core of what you're trying to do.
Where are you based, Denise? Where are you teaching?
I teach in a Catholic secondary schooling.
That's good. No, those communities are vital, like Neary and like this new SIG.
Yeah,